I would have people come and they're like, what does CSR stand for? First thing you do, right, if you don't know it, you go and you Google it and you see all these things like everyone plants trees. It's like, does that make sense for us?
It's not just CSR on our title, it's embedded in.
I definitely didn't want it to feel like a tick box at all. Are we doing something that feels authentic, that we are behind, that, we're all passionate about?
Hello and welcome to Sparks, a podcast by the Sagos Group. My name is Millie Gladstone. I'm one of our senior L&D consultants based here in the London office. I'm your host, and I'm joined in the studio today by my colleague Blair, who's one of our learning consultants, and also by Sharon, who is our customer delivery and HR manager. But what unites you both, not only your energy and sense of fun, but your responsibility for our corporate social responsibility. You guys head up our CSR initiatives here in the UK office. So thank you for joining me today to talk about that topic in particular. So we'll get right into it. What does CSR, corporate social responsibility, mean for a company of our size?
I'm gonna let Sharon handle that one.
I knew that was coming.
What does it mean? Well, to be honest, it's more about building a culture, I think, in our organisation. So it's not just about the things we do outside, but also how we work together and what we do for each other. So that's what it means for me, because, we can do lots of things. We can go and help charities and stuff, but we've got to start with ourselves first and then go out from there.
I like that, the internal aspects as well as what you're doing for externals as well. Blair, anything to add?
Yeah, actually I'll add something. The reason why I turned to Sharon is I'm learning a lot from Sharon about CSR. So CSR is a new position for me. So it means something a bit different for me. Of course, there's the wider definition of what it is. But for me personally, I feel like it's bridged something that I'm passionate about, but didn't even know I was passionate about until I was brought into it, and bridging that gap between things that I do care about with work, which I think it can mean that for a lot of people once they learn about it.
Yes, thank you both. So Sharon, probably this is a question for you rather than for Blair, only because you're newer into it. But Sharon, can you share a story about how our team's CSR initiatives began?
Yeah, I think it started with the people, actually, rather than from top down or group level. Because, we all go socially somewhere together. We all have things that happen at home or family, close friends and stuff like that. And you bring that to work, don't you? You talk about those situations. You talk about what you do outside of work as well as inside of work. And so, obviously, the 10 of us at Sagos UK in the past, we were a close-knit team, and it just evolved, really, from a little social here and there to then, okay, well, let's do some charity work because we're all passionate about certain things. Somebody wasn't very well within our team. So again, that promoted obviously some extra sort of curricular activities around their charity. And then it just evolved from there, really. And gradually, group 2021, I think, the strategy from group came from the top down, effectively, from there. And it's a bit of a mixture now of the two things mixed together. But that's how it started, just small, one thing at a time, and then it grew from there.
It's so nice to hear a story of it coming from the people and the team first, rather than it being a top-down mandate from the beginning. Because I think sometimes we hear the term CSR, and it can feel a bit like a tick box exercise sometimes. I think especially now when you see banks promoting, like funds that invest into green energy or whatever it might be, like they should be doing that anyway. It shouldn't be an added bonus or benefit of a particular product or service. So actually the fact that it came from you guys as a team is so nice. And how did you choose what organisations to support? Obviously you've mentioned that somebody wasn't very well, so that fueled it. Was there anything else? Was there kind of suggestions at the group level? How does it all work?
Group do suggest certain things. You learn from the colleagues around the business. Blair's met, now she's fully into it. We've got ambassadors around the world for all of the Sagos countries. So you know, every time we go on a call, don't we, where we get something from them. So those ideas we start off with, and then Blair, did you want to talk about what else we've done?
Yeah, so I think, you know, thinking about how we were bringing it into our merger, our teams joining and everything, I know one thing that I talked to Sharon about a lot was keeping it authentic to who we are, because who we were before, we have a very strong identity, very orange, like we like being different. So going back to the phrase about like a tick box, right? We didn't want it, I definitely didn't want it to feel like a tick box at all. And that's all I knew about CSR before, really. So we're like, how do we keep it authentic? So it was a lot of conversations. I think I probably asked you, maybe other colleagues, about what things are you passionate about? We put out surveys, collecting data, seeing what people were interested in, and then trying to align that with what is actually available to do as well. Because sometimes there isn't something for every single cause that's feasible. But yeah, just sort of talking to people and asking them, what are they passionate about? What would they like to do? Yeah.
Tell us more about the survey, because I think that's a really useful tool for maybe somebody who's looking to start some CSR initiatives who might be listening to this podcast. Yeah. So tell us more.
Yeah, so the idea came about because I know from the personalities that we work with here that people don't necessarily, like the top bottom, they're top down. They don't necessarily want to just be told that something is happening. Mm-hmm. They want to feel that they are behind it and a part of it as well. So what better way than to ask people that? But rather than going around having individual conversations, I wanted to put together a survey to gather that so that I could gather ideas and see what people are genuinely interested in. Because if you're gonna motivate people to get behind something, they have to feel that they're a part of it and that they've been involved with those decisions as well. It was only because of some feedback that I had received that, oh, that's great, but no one considered if, you know, maybe we were able to do that at that time or something like that. Like they were excited about things, but they just didn't feel close to them. So I wanted to see, can we do something that people feel close to? Obviously, you can't please every single individual, but if I can see that there are major trends coming out, like the majority of people are interested in this topic or that type of initiative, then maybe we can then advocate for people in that way. And I think the data, a good thing about surveys, if you are doing CSR, is you have data to back you up. When you're trying to advocate for these things and get budget, you're able to say, well, the majority of people would do this, so the money wouldn't just be thrown into the air and like, you know, we wouldn't see results from that. So surveys are good to, one, make people feel involved, make them feel like their opinions are being heard, but also having data that you can use to advocate for the initiatives that you want to push forward.
Buy-in from every level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's given us a grounding for the future as well. So it's not just a survey for this year. Exactly. It's going to set us up for the next 3 years, so we can then keep evolving that as time goes on. It's got the ideas there. We can't do everything all at once, but we at least it's given us some ideas and future thoughts about what to do.
So what falls into your remit under the heading of CSR? Obviously, there's the external factors, working with charities. We've mentioned some of the internal aspects. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah, so so employees. So we've got to consider well-being, learning and development. We're in a learning and development company. You know.
Makes sense for us to do from ourselves, yeah.
So, you know, what can we do for each person individually in the organisation? So how do we develop and grow those people across? And CSR forms part of that. Not all of it, because obviously we've got managers, we've got the rest of the teams, but at least we can then start helping to promote, generate ideas around that as well, to work with each other rather than just in the silo teams and things, because we can push for things to happen as well, and from our perspective. We've got, so that's employees. So well-being obviously is really high on the list and agenda for most people.
We also have environmental.
You know,
so to consider that. I mean, that's a big part of what Sharon does. So that's the part that I'm learning. So it's easy for me to hop on like the sort of employee people side, right? Because I'm close to that. Where Sharon heads up a lot of things is the environmental factors, thinking about our energy usage in the office. We have to track things like that. There's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that people don't know. And she was, so she tracks that. Also, things like the recycling initiatives, which Sharon set up as well. And then, and also it's external as well, thinking about our clients and when we're booking things, are there ways to be more environmentally friendly in maybe the type of food that's served or the type of transportation? Is it virtual, in person? So just thinking about all those factors, all those things get measured. So yeah, it all matters.
Thanks, Blair. You forget, don't you, how much you get involved in things. And it becomes day to day, though. That's the key thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not just CSR on a title. It's embedded in.
And there's also the societal aspect as well, right? We look at ways, how can we take what we do to help people outside of this? So is it like offering free courses on something to a group that maybe may not have access to that? We're looking at, partnering with schools and things like that. So there's a lot of things underway, but we're looking at all these different areas that we can,
That was actually how I first got involved in L&Ds, because my mum used to go into schools and run practice assessment centres for like year 11, sixth formers.
That's an idea.
Yeah.
Let's
They
jot
are
that down.
brutal at that age, but it prepares you.
Yeah.
So obviously we know that time is a precious resource. And you said there, Sharon, that some of the responsibilities maybe that you have around gathering that data and checking that sort of stuff is part of your day-to-day. But how do you balance it? How do you balance getting the day job done with the extra initiatives that come with being our CSR ambassadors?
Good question. I think.
How do I balance?
I don't know. I think because we're passionate. You can you can tell Blair is definitely
You are too.
because we're passionate about it. And and you were right at the beginning. You don't realise you are until you start talking about it and then doing things day to day. But if you're passionate about it, which I am, and you choose the right people to drive that, Blair definitely, and the rest of the team here actually are. Yeah. Everyone's got
really good about
got a little thing that they can add to it. Then it just becomes day to day. It's not like you don't really think about it. Obviously, we've got other jobs to do, and we don't. We've got data to collect. We've got initiatives to launch, but we can delegate across the organisation.
But I think also because we do exactly. I think because we do such like a people-focused approach, actually it's like, yes, we're deciding what to do, but then people step up and want to do stuff. So it doesn't actually, I feel like, take as much time as you think it would. We have a weekly check-in. I feel like you're just so on top of it and organized. Honestly, I don't want to speak too much. She's the reason why we save a lot of time on it, because I'll overthink something and you're like, no, we'll just do that. But I think we also partner with marketing as well, right? Like people on the marketing team support with like the socials and things like that. Some people want to run events. Like when we do the surveys, actually there's so many names that pop up of people that just want to run things and do things, that it's really just about driving it more than actual doing sometimes. So
the team are really engaged in the initiatives, and therefore they want to be involved and they help kind of get things running. Love it. Big highlight for me of last year was the clothing. I know, was it this year?
This year, yeah. It felt like a long time ago.
But so good. And everyone came to that, didn't they? The office was buzzing, so many clothes, the fashion shows.
Yeah, and that was personal, but also it went on to become for the British Heart Foundation as well, that they got the benefit of it as well in the end.
Absolutely. So how has CSR, kind of staying on that thread, how has CSR become part of team culture and morale, do you think?
I think awareness, maybe. We've driven awareness of it, maybe, or different ideas that have come to light. So, we've been talking about, I don't know, book club. Yeah. Everyone reads books. We've got books everywhere around here. Yeah. So that's probably something we want to do next. But it's, just raising the awareness, and then people talk about it, and it's sort of, it's like it's catching, isn't it? Like someone laughing, or, it catches on.
I think because this past year, we were also handling the merger at the same time. It's been just more focused on what does CSR look like for us rather than doing too much at once. So I think we've done a great job of awareness. Like people generally know what it is. Yep. I think, you can nod on that. Yes, I think, we did like the lunch and learn, getting people, aware of what it means, what we're trying to do, the surveys, we've been gathering that. And I think we are putting together a plan for 2026 where you'll see a lot more action, I think. We've done some stuff, but I think we'll have like more of like a set calendar and things like that. But we've sort of just wanted to start that rhythm and then see what that looks like. Also, I was in the learning position as well, just soaking it all up, learning what that looks like, what can we even do, how do we advocate for budget and things like that. So Sharon's been really great with that. me learning that process.
I think you guys are playing down a little bit what you've done and the impact that it's had as well. Because I think
tell us.
Asking that question, just let me step in here.
Yeah.
I do think that in terms of team culture, we all came to the clothing swap, for example. That's a really good example. Everyone was excited to do something. It definitely didn't feel like a tick box exercise of, I'm going to this clothing swap because we're going to support the charts. Like it was, everyone was bought in. Everyone bought their clothes in. I know the sponsored walks that your team have done, everyone's supported. I think it does go a long way in actually bringing some good vibes to the office.
Good. Great. This is the feedback we needed. Yes. I think Sharon and I also, one thing that we have in common is we always feel like, what can we do more of? Yeah. So we always feel like, there's more.
Yeah.
But then when we did, some of like our calls and stuff, we realized, when we put together the calendar and like everything, we're like, actually, we have done quite a bit. So maybe that's something we need to recognize
reflect.
as well.
We need to reflect.
Yeah, we need to reflect on what we've done. But I think we're always looking to the future. We're like, okay, what are we doing next? What's the next thing? So
yeah. You need to reflect more and celebrate the wins. And I think even in terms of empowering people on the team to get involved, because you set up events and opportunities for that to happen, feeds back into the internal kind of initiatives and perspective for sure. But it definitely, you've helped the team here feel empowered to do that as well, definitely. My next question was, what's a specific example of a CSR project that's truly energized your team?
I know it's in the past, but I felt like the Christmas jumper brought everyone to. I felt like, so it was, I think, the first thing that we ever did. So I think I just met you, just found out we're doing CSR.
That was
and you were
definitely last year.
Yeah. Oh, that was last year.
Yeah.
Oh, did you say this year?
No,
Sorry.
just any general.
But that was last year, yeah. Because that's when the merger first happened. Yeah. And I felt like that was the first thing that like brought us together in terms of CSR. Like there's other stuff, but in terms of CSR, like I was just so shocked to see I shouldn't say that, but everyone got so into it. I wasn't sure if people were going to be into it, because it was a silly Christmas jumper, type thing, but it was actually so fun. And we actually did raise money for, it was a children's foundation, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was really great. So I felt like everyone felt really good about that. And I think it served two purposes. It was like, first we were, doing just something with CSR to kick it off. But in that time where there was so much uncertainty around the merger, it brought everyone together in an event. And we were all just like a bit silly and, but for a good cause at the end. So.
I've started thinking about my Christmas jumper already.
I know. Oh yeah, you were the star of that because you were the elf outfit. Right?
No, I had a Christmas tree. I was a
Christmas tree. Who was an elf? That was Louise?
Oh, Louise, yeah. That was my outfit to Louise.
Yeah. I learned how, the Bracknell office got down. They love Christmas. You guys showed up. They were a stiff competition. I don't even think, we came close, but you guys won for sure.
For me, I suppose the Vertigo Challenge that Sagos Group initiate. Although this year was only a small team of 4.
Yeah. It was Lizzie, Ruben, Nathan.
I think heading into 2026 in March 2026, I'm sure that it will happen again, and so I think we can get a lot more people involved. Because there'll be a little bit of a competition, a little bit of fun.
We do love a competition.
Yes, I've learned that.
Sharon, just for our listeners and our watchers, remind us what the Vertigo Challenge is.
Good question. Context. Yeah, so the Vertigo Challenge is basically, I think it's like 3 weeks of activities for a team of 4, cycling, so a bit of physical activity, should I say. So cycling, walking. I think when we've done it in the past at Sagos, we had a little bit of cheating going on. Some people are skiing, but it's actually walking and cycling mostly, and running. Running. And so it gets people outside. It doesn't matter if you can run. You can just do fast walking or just walking. Mm-hmm. Everyone can get involved. Mm-hmm. And basically all the Sagos countries are involved. So you're in a competition not only with your internal team, but also the wider team across Sagos Group. And the money that basically there's a donation. So every mile or every kilometre that we run or do some sort of activity, Play International then donate money to the local causes, literally to do with children and learning and growing. So it fits right within what we do as an organisation.
And we came, I say we, like I was part of it, but see, this is CSR brings us all together.
We wanted you to be part of it.
Came quite high up in the leaderboard, I feel like.
Yeah.
This year. Was it 4th or something? Or am I making that up?
No, it was definitely 4th or 5th, something like that, against all the countries. So.
Yeah.
And there's
Well
some big runners and players out there.
I feel like it was mainly Lizzie. Just
Shout out to Lizzie.
So what was the biggest challenge? I think we've talked about a lot of the good parts and how the teams got involved, but what was the biggest challenge you faced when trying to get people to buy into your CSR initiatives, if any?
I suppose it's just to start with, I suppose it's the understanding of what is it? It's not a tick box exercise.
Yeah.
That is the key thing, because you don't just want people just to think, raise their eyes and think, oh, it's nothing. It just doesn't mean anything.
I definitely feel like the energy changed around it once we did the lunch and learn.
Yes.
Because I think I also didn't realize that people didn't know what it was, which I should have known that because I didn't know what it was either. But then I would have people come and like ask me, because I would post something about CSR and they're like, what does CSR stand for? I was like, oh, okay, let's take a step back. And then we did the lunch and learn. And then I feel like, the energy changed around it. People got excited, especially when they heard that we were putting the survey out and they were gonna get to share their ideas. I think that shifted versus previously. I think we had just put out like the Christmas jumper, we just told people that was happening. The Vertigo Challenge, we just kind of said it. And then people didn't really know like what it was for, like what, So I think it was just the communication around it, like being more, because we had half the team that was very well versed in it, right? 'Cause you guys had already been doing it. And then half the team where we're learning about it.
It was
new to us. So it was just bridging that gap. So
yeah, the communications and the handling of that, the understanding.
Yeah. Or else it can just sound like another like corporate jargon-filled thing, right? Because there's so many messages you're getting from above every day, acronyms, things like that. So you just think, oh, it's just another thing from above. Yeah.
And how do you measure the impact of the activity? We've spoken about data a little bit already in the episode, but that was probably more around gathering the data of what people wanted to do and what initiatives they wanted to be a part of and help you guys run. How do you measure the impact of those initiatives?
We are also an Investors in People accredited company. So there'll be surveys around how do people feel, what's happening in terms of culture. That's important internally. In terms of the wider, what do we do every day, recycling efforts, etc. We have to do reporting to group quarterly. And so there's always a collection of data, which obviously I've been involved in at Blair's Learning. We've recently won an award to Sagos Group with EcoVadis, which is a bronze award. So the data we provide to group helps to put a yearly award in for corporate social responsibility. So measuring our electricity. Obviously there's lots on today, but all the light, that'll all go off obviously when we leave the room. The recycling, go into soft plastics we've introduced. So how many, I'm measuring how many bags I take to the local supermarket, etc. What can we do next? So batteries, there's loads of things that we can continue to do. So lots of data, basically. Employee retention, how many staff, sickness levels. There's a lot to report back to group on, which is important. And it does make you think, okay, well, what can we do differently if you notice a trend in something? Which is probably what we'll look at more for next year.
Love that. And to pick up a little bit on what you were saying there, thinking about the awards, that's probably something that we haven't spoken about yet. Is that quite a lot of work from you that goes into that? Is it something that's facilitated by group? How can people get involved?
Yes, that's mostly facilitated by group. Okay. Katia, the head of quality and corporate social responsibility, manages that process. But we obviously have to provide the data. So we had to do 2 years worth of data and provide that to Katia so that she could submit that paperwork. I'm sure there'll be more coming for us to collect to get to that next silver or gold award, because I'm sure we want to continue to grow ourselves in the corporate social responsibility arena, as it were, because we want to keep those passions going, don't we, Blair?
Yes, we do.
So much to get involved in. Who knew? All the awards, all part of CSR. I'm learning so much. But we need to distribute this podcast amongst the team as well, so that they know. And do you think CSR has played a role in attracting or retaining some of the talent in probably the UK office you guys can speak to? Obviously, we're sort of a small business if we're thinking about us just as an office. But when you're looking at that data, is there anything that stands out? Anything that's helped retain talent?
I think in the last recruitment round that we did, there was a high percentage of questions around what do you do? We've seen it on your website. We've seen Group's website. What does that actually mean? So if you didn't do it, you wouldn't be able to talk about it so freely, would you? So, so definitely that was a factor in people. It was more from the experience I've had over the years in recruitment. This last round this year has definitely shown that people are really, really more interested in what's going on around that. There's more awareness in the world, obviously, with what happens and what people see on the news and things like that. But I think it was just
involved in recruitment, so I can't really comment on that. But I would say in terms of like retention, I think it can definitely help with that. Of course, how we measure that, we'll have to see as we progress. But I think if people feel that a company has those values and cares about those things, we know that nowadays, especially with current generations, it's become a really big, important thing. People don't just want to work at a place, they want to work at a place that aligns with their values. So I think it's good that we're setting this precedent. So I think it will have an impact on retention. Don't have the data yet. Maybe we'll run this podcast back next year and see. We'll see who's still here.
What's the,
but we'll see. But I think it definitely will support retention.
Yeah, and it's sometimes it's the small things as well. Like even in our fridge, we've got different types of milks, which I know I appreciate.
Yes, of course.
It's like you say, it's when it becomes part of the day to day as well. There's things like that you almost take for granted, but actually there's a lot of companies that don't offer alternative milks for people with dietary requirements. So all those things go a long way, definitely. So why should other businesses, based on your experience, consider making CSR a priority if they're not already, even if they are limited on their resources?
I think it brings people, well, you can hear, we've talked about it quite a lot today. It brings people together, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And you get a reward from helping others outside of the organisation. So whatever your company does, why not help someone with the things that you do anyway, the skills you've got, the people you have?
Yeah.
Why not? It makes you feel good. It helps everyone and it helps you too.
Yeah. I think we can look at it from both, people and commercial perspective. People side, like you said, it increases company morale, right? People feel like they're working for a company that has values, not just a company that's just, what are we doing,
Wants to do good,
I think if work is someplace that you spend a lot of time at, if there's something that you can get involved, that you feel good about, that you can get behind, it feels good to volunteer and to give back and to do things like that. But I also think from a commercial perspective, if you are a, service-based or like external organization that works with clients, I think clients feel good about working with companies that are doing good things as well. If you're able to say like, these are our practices, this is what we do, I think you will attract more people to your company as well. So yeah, I think there's big benefits in either area.
Great. Good thoughts. Thank you both. Lovely insights. So if you were to give one piece of advice, maybe to a company or someone who's at the beginning of their CSR journey, what would that advice be?
Start small and build from there.
Yeah.
Definitely. Start small. I would say be authentic. I know I used that word earlier, but when you start looking at CSR, because I know when I first got told I was going to work on CSR and like work with you, which I was so happy, they knew I wanted something like that, and that's why I was given that. But I think first thing you do, right, if you don't know it, you go and you Google it and you see all these things like, I think one of the first conversations, like everyone plants trees, or like something like that. There's like all these like kind of things that like a lot of companies do. It's like, does that make sense for us? Are we going to, it's a good thing to do. There are so many fantastic things to do, but does it make sense for us and what we do here? Mm-hmm. So it can be a tick box where you just do everything because it sounds nice on paper, right? But are we doing something that feels authentic, that we are behind, that, we're all passionate about? Mm-hmm. I think, Start small, be authentic.
Yeah, and then as well, that's how you get the buy-in ultimately from your company and the people on your team as well. And then that's how you
Snowballs.
stop being so small. It snowballs and it turns into a big thing. So, bit of a teaser then. What's next for our CSR efforts? Can you reveal? Have we got any new projects or goals on the horizon?
I don't know if I want to speak about it too soon. All I will say is there is a survey that went out recently, and hopefully you've completed it.
Yeah.
Focused on what are people's desires for internal personal development. Yeah.
And then we want to work a bit more with the local school, which I don't. As I walked into the podcast today, I was like, "Ooh, you can hear all the children running around
We're very
and having
close.
lots of fun." So hopefully a bit more of that with the school to help develop them and the teachers and the children and whatever else that brings.
Awesome. Oh, thank you both so much for joining me in the studio today to share a bit more about CSR, our approach at Sagos, and how other people can embolden their people to get more involved in CSR as well. That's it from us. But if you have enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe to get all other episodes that are released in the future. Thank you and see you next time.